Hey, everybody. Bob Saget's here for you as the show. I'm saying my name in third person now. I'm used to it. It's a brand for the podcast and also on the YouTube. You know what you do with this show. You rate, review, you subscribe. You can call that number at the top. I'll be calling people at some point and announce it on Twitter and Instagram stories. And I'm loving this podcast. And I'm really happy that I have the guest that I have. It's somebody that I love. It's somebody you all love. It's Cedric the Entertainer. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, the Kings of Comedy. He was, of course, on the Steve Harvey show, all the Barbershop movies, which we'll be talking about. He's just an incredibly special guy. The Neighborhood, his series on CBS right now. He's just a really incredibly special guy. I've known him a really long time. And he's just so funny and such a big heart. And I'm really excited that he's my guest today. So let's just go to it. Here we go, everybody. Cedric the Entertainer, letting him in the Zoom room.
What's up?
Life is good.
What's up, brother?
I'm so damn happy to see you.
Yeah, this is awesome, man.
This is awesome. It's like, okay, there's a reason to have a podcast because I get to connect with people that I miss. That when we see each other rarely, it's like we never stop seeing each other.
Yeah, man, just love, brother. That's good.
It's love. How are you, my friend?
Good, man. All is well. The well is to be expected, right? We're out here.
It's so,
but I've been staying pretty busy.
Yeah, you're busy as hell. And I want to just congratulate you on everything, not just who you are, because I'll talk about that, because I've always loved you. And I mean, we go way back. We go back to,
man.
I mean, they're doing a documentary on Fat Tuesdays at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, I record tomorrow, matter of fact. I think I record tomorrow.
I'm hoping they hold up for me because I don't get back for weeks, but I'm asking that they hold up because I'm one of the few white people that was able to do it. And I did it for like 6 months.
Yeah. You came in there and rocked it a couple of different times.
A couple times and then a couple of rough ones, but I loved it.
It's to be expected. It's that kind of room. Even for me, I remember going in there one night where it's just like, you just couldn't catch the rhythm, man. Like, it's just a very urban room, if you will. That's the modern day terms.
Well, I went there to find out what funny was again, because I felt like I lost it. And the audience was really so welcoming. It made me feel, it just was nice. I'd call Guy Torrey and say, can I come in? And please. And then I was so happy. And, but I'll just come out and say it. The Neighborhood is a hit show on CBS. You're picked up for 2 more seasons.
Yeah.
And that's a nice feeling, right?
It's a very good feeling, man. It's one of those things you don't expect. You're not sure. Anybody of us who've done television and, you take your career takes all these turns. People will see it. When they look at it, they see it as this one thing that's happening. And man, I've known you all my life and all these kind of things.
Right.
But, for when you're living it, man, it is, it's a roller coaster. And so to have something that's just like on a upward trajectory, flowing easy, a great job at a great network, good people, we're having a good time. All of that is something I'm thankful for later on in my career, for sure.
Well, you know how we all feel. It trickles down from the top. And you have always been a straight up guy. And it comes through on that show. It's a warm feeling. And you're so real. That's what has always been so great about you and your stand up and all your acting, which I'm gonna lap up and down on you because you're such a good actor. But that show, I watched the colonoscopy episode.
Oh yeah.
That speaks to you from the asshole all the way up to your heart.
That's where it all really starts, right?
It ends up as we get older. That's where it ends up.
this is where we all need to understand where everything comes out, right? At the end of the day. But you can't, no, but I think that's the important part. Like, we were talking about this with the whole idea of Black History Month, and everybody's talking about the different TV shows that have been on, and what's your responsibility, right? To when you're on TV, do you, we felt like, Good Times, and sometimes they would have these very serious episodes, Fresh Prince, Cosby Show, of course, they would have these sincere episodes, and like, is that a responsibility of the person who has this platform, or do you just find like you need to say these things? And I think it's a combination of both, so we want to be able to do something that, while depicting these fictional characters that say something that resonates with people for real. And and going to the doctor when you're a male, especially to get the colonoscopy, it's so much taboo around it that guys will not go, and could have easily, saved themselves just by getting a check. So that's what it was all about, man. And so I'm glad people loved that episode. It resonated well. It performed highly, and that was good.
Yeah. And I also read about how you are finding, how can you get your message out with who you are as a man and as a Black man in this world, and it is both. You found a way to really get your message out without driving it down people's throats, but you have to say something, right?
Yeah. That's what I think, because people come to the show to laugh, which is, we got to all remember that. But, when you got the microphone, right, you got the responsibility to, one, speak up for whatever the truth that you believe is necessary to be told. And at the same time, know that the people came to laugh and have a good time and really let go on a Monday night after they got off work and they're here chilling at home. It's like, all right, so yeah, let me not like turn you all upside down so I can preach this message, but I want to say something in a humorous way, and then hopefully it'll land in a way that you say, oh man, that was interesting, that was thought-provoking. I'm actually gonna, make it a call to action. So and again, I think that's the best you can do with the platform. And then, you got social media and all this other stuff later. If you want to, get on a real rant about it, then I can, put it on my IG page.
Right. And you've done that a little bit, but you say, I think it's important for us to be able to say things that are really true to our audience and our people, like Black Lives Matter and those issues, at least give it a shot.
Yeah.
And that's such a dignified, cool way to do it. But I can only, and I can't say I know, but I feel that when all the events that happened last summer, how did you come out? Were people coming to you asking for your opinions, and how did you deal with it?
Of course.
And continue to deal with it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And I think, the key is one that, I took my kids to a protest just to, to have them understand what it is to have that on the boots ground kind of activism. You know what I'm saying? And I do say the protest, not the riots. Because, like, we go in the daytime. When it start to get dark, I'm out of there. I'm not Bob.
No, you're right.
I think that is very important. One, it seemed to be an awakening of a lot of just American people that saw this as the travesty what it was, right? And this goes back to, again, in this country where race and bigotry and prejudices, but also the actual systemic racism of power, where one side has the power and they literally can do what they want to do, and it seems to be no repercussions. And so, the idea that police brutality is this thing that, got some light put on it in a way that I thought most Americans recognize. And so you empathize with the situation, when to see him on the ground, to see him not being able to breathe, to see him call for his mama, and to see this guy have no remorse for it at any given time, did he decide like, oh no, I'm doing too much. Like, where in your humanity is that okay, right? And that's Black, white, or otherwise. And so that's what I feel like people was like, look, man, it ain't nothing to treat another person like a human. You wouldn't even do a dog like that. So what do where am I, even if I'm totally one political side or the other, that right there, that kind of behavior, unacceptable, man, period. And, now we all got to stay fighting that to make sure that that's something that, we the people will just not tolerate. That kind of behavior.
And it's human rights. It just doesn't make any sense that people can't just go, oh, we're all human beings. It never registered with me since childhood.
It's a trip, man, because in the most part, people don't even interact if you don't want to. So what's the big deal that somebody else even exists? That's the problem that kills me about that hardcore, leftist kind of thinking that says you're this color, you're this race, you're this religion, you're this sexual preference. And somehow that bothers me so much that I don't even deal with it. Like if on an average day, dog, like if I had interactions with somebody that was opposite of me, including a Confederate believing flag when white
Let's go back to 1846 when things were great.
It's going to be a few minutes, dog. We can have our differences, and then I'm going to get on about my life, and you get on about yours. There's no reason for neither one of us to die right now. And knowing that we got families and all, and kids and mothers and daughters, we got other people that do love us, that care that we exist. What makes you feel like you got the right to take my life because you oppose my existence? That's ridiculous.
It's insane. I don't get it. And you're literally one of the most lovable people in comedy. When I met you, you came from good family, right?
Yeah, a single family, mom, school teacher. My dad was around, but my mother raised both my sister and myself. And she just, legendary mom, like most moms, get a job done. But she was a school teacher, educator in many ways, went on to get her master's and become a reading specialist, and just a dynamic personality. And of course, when we were younger, her mom, so my grandmother was also a big part of raising us. And so, but that was the core nature of my household, man. So, I was pretty much the male lead in my household pretty early on in life, and then had a younger sister who's a professor at Pepperdine right now. And we all just kind of blessed and, and really happy to have had the life we had with the kind of mother who was like a go-getter and and a mover of mountains for us as kids.
So you're a kid. When did you know you were funny? I always ask that. I asked that with Richard. I asked, and we had the same answer, Richard and me.
I was pretty young. I must say I was aware of it, where I felt like I knew I was making people laugh. I maybe more like 8. I got a feeling I was a lot younger, when I kind of knew I had a funny personality. But when I knew I could make people laugh, it was more around that 8, 9 mark when I knew like I had the weapon, if you will.
9's a sweet spot. Oh man, I was on fire at 9, and then at about 12, once puberty hit me, or 11, it all fucking it fell apart. I just lost my mojo. It was terrible once those hairs came in.
Yeah. Well, you spend too much time masturbating after that.
I don't remember how I invented it. I know I found it by myself. People like, oh, who taught you that? Why are the sheets like this, Bob? I'm like, I don't remember. I don't know. I was dry humping at 5.
It doesn't matter. Anything can get it. I was like, my mom used to have those Sears catalogs and the JCPenney catalogs.
JCPenney.
What? The lingerie section? Are you serious? All torn out.
Well, they didn't have Victoria's Secrets back with our moms.
No. So a full-on support bra would work in this situation.
Rubber stockings my mother wore.
Yeah, anything that showed legs and a waist and some, the outline of a breast was like, oh yes, you can get it.
Well, what would you say was the first break? Because Kings of Comedy, you're already in your 20s or 30s, Kings of Comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little out. Yeah, I was definitely in my 30s around the Kings. My first break that I felt like that I really considered a break was, it's a couple of things, but one was the Miller Genuine Draft Comedy Search they used to do in Chicago. And because I lived in St. Louis, I would drive to Chicago. And of course, Chicago uh, was our New York, if you will. It was the big city. This is where you go. And if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, so to speak. And so in competing in that competition, of course, ran up against some really veteran comedians, people that were just amazing and doing their thing. Bernie Mac had won the year before, so I didn't have to compete against him. But it was like some legends that people like were competing against. And so it's in that where I won that competition. I won $3,000, the first time I'd ever won a lump sum of money.
Wow.
And it was, it was the pinnacle. They put me in Jet magazine, so you get your picture in the little magazine. Like
that's huge. That's huge.
So all of those things really justify, like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. So that would be the one I consider like my first big break, where I was like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm on to something. And then,
how old were you then?
That probably was 28-ish, 29, somewhere in there. Because I started late. I started comedy because I went to college, graduated, was working for State Farm as a claims adjuster. I started comedy when I was probably 26, turning 27. That was my early year, and I did most of it around St. Louis, in and out of St. Louis, traveling until, it took about 2 years. So right around 29, I started to get some national recognition.
You ever get the bug to want to sell insurance again? Because I'd buy from you in a second. I was a deli clerk. It's like, maybe I'll go work as a deli clerk. Andy Kaufman did it when he was on Taxi,
Well, the thing is that I was the claims adjuster. So I was the guy that came in and told you, like, your car was damaged and this is what you can get for it. And this is what we'll do.
Right.
And we'll put you in a rental car. And so, I took a leave of absence. I tell this story all the time. I never quit that job. So I'm still on a leave of absence.
I'm on a leave of absence from the Amalgamated Meat Cutters Union. You got to have it in your back pocket.
You got to have a fallback. My mom always told me this. I could imagine the day I show up and want my desk back. People are going to be like, what? Hey, brother, come on, get up, man. Get my name tag. I got my name tag out the storage locker.
Right.
And I'm back, buddy.
They got it all there in a box waiting for you.
I got it. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm taking care of Teslas now. That's my go-to move.
I just spent 2 nights ago. I watched. I've seen all the Barbershop movies because they hit me so deep. When I saw the first one, I went, "This is amazing." It's kind of like a play in some ways because and it's an open dialogue about life, and you're kind of, Ice Cube and you, but you're the tent pole in so many ways. You're watching everything. You've got the wisdom.
Yeah.
I mean, how did that come about? That first one?
That first one was that's one of those kind of magical situations too, because I was on an upward trajectory. I had a lot of things going on. And so I actually got offered to be in a bigger movie at Paramount. I remember it was, I think it was Like Mike. So it was supposed to be a bigger budget movie. And then I went in to do the table read for this movie just as a favor to the producers. They wanted, where you sit around and read it to hear it out.
Yep.
And that night I read for the old man. I just kind of did it because it was fun. And then they cast me to be in another role. And I told them I wanted to do the old man. And they was like, "You sure?" And I was like, "Yes." And so when they agreed to do it, then I chose that movie over Like Mike because I just felt like it was the kind of character that I could make really real and that it would, lift my career up. So that's what I did, man.
You became Eddie. I mean, it was so beautiful to watch. And I, as a protagonist, I'm watching it through your eyes because you're watching this crazy stuff going around you, and it's in Chicago. I mean, it must have meant so much to you. Did you shoot
Man,
on location, all three of them?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, well, only the first two we shot in Chicago. The third one we shot in Atlanta. More on a sound stage. But the first two
I
were,
just watched the third one, the next cut,
yeah,
and damn it, I loved it so much. So much social significance. It's right now. It's
yeah. It's such a great theme, the movie and the idea of it, because it is like I say in the first one, it's the Black Man Country Club. It's the place where we belong, and so you get that freedom to talk. You get this kind of this unexpected validation just by being a part of the neighborhood, right? If you come in here and they allow you in, like you get to be a part of it, then you validate it, right? So say what you want to say and say it the way you want to say it, even though people may oppose it or whatever. And that's what I really loved about what that movie captured more than anything, because it's such an honest place in that barbershop experience in real life. So it was able to capture it.
and it was all there. It was in the script, and they're all directed really well, and they all touch my heart. I'm laughing. You're so funny. You're so funny when shit happens, and they have to spray when you fart.
Oh yeah,
There's so much great stuff. And
yeah.
Regina's a friend, and Anthony Anderson is but and Ice Cube is so strong.
Yeah.
It's the ensemble. Was it a love fest with everybody?
Yeah, to have Eve and like Ice Cube and Michael Ealy, so many
Yeah.
the actors grew and became really great. Sean Patrick Thomas, I just really enjoyed it. We had a blast together, and Tim Story, who's now like a big time director, just directed Tom and Jerry
Yeah.
and all those things. But he did that first one, and he was such a young guy with a great vision and willing to let us play, and because you got the script, and this is what you learn too. You got the script, but when the movie starts, the director is the one in charge. The script is no longer the thing. So it was often that he would just want me to play. He was like, "Look, I need some transitions here. So as Eddie, give me some stuff." And that's what was really good for a comedian and people, that's creative. Like I was just able to improv just stuff as Eddie often, and just like come up with things that just was totally off the dome. But I was so inside the character that it made me think I was a method actor, because had arthritis and everything when I was shooting that movie. I was really an old man. I couldn't had to
Yeah,
drink
because your
metal.
body, it's in your body. You became it. You really did.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and every character takes stage and holds court at some point. And then when you do, you can feel the stand up in you. But
yeah,
it's Eddie the stand up, and just it's a piece of brilliance, man. It's just such
yeah,
good. I'd call it acting, but it's so real and so funny, and you love him. You love
yeah.
him so much. And do you think there'll be more?
I don't know, man. I would think that maybe there will be. We had great expectations for the third one. I think something weird was going on in the movie business, and the movie didn't quite perform the way that everybody wanted to. But as a series, I think that people look forward to seeing another one, and so it's just about a timing thing. So I think that we'll probably get back into it again for sure.
That would make me damn happy.
Yeah, man.
We're going to take a quick break. Watch this. It's going to be quick. All right, I'm going to talk to you about something that is important, and it's your mental health. This is a paid sponsorship, by the way, by one of our sponsors, and it's brought to you by BetterHelp. People need help sometimes, and if you're having anxiety, if you're having panic attacks, if you're having problems with people, and you just want to get some help, BetterHelp is really there for you. I believe in therapy. I've had therapy. I know it's shocking, but I have, and it's helped me tremendously. So I have to ask you, what interferes with your happiness? Is something preventing you from achieving your goals? I've had many things get in my way. There was a time where I couldn't even fill out a form to book a flight on a computer, and I went to therapy and I got help. And BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You're going to get a real therapist out of this. This is not a self-help thing. Connect in a safe and private online environment, and it's so convenient. You can start communicating in under 48 hours, which means from the moment you hear this voice in 2 days, you can get to work on yourself with a professional. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. And that securely means it's private. Nobody else hears it. It is not anywhere to be found after the session. Send a message to your counselor anytime. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. If your counselor that you're using isn't working out for you, they will switch counselors for you so you can keep your work going on yourself. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. The service is available for clients worldwide, and you can find the particular expertise you need online. Don't limit yourself to the counselors located near you. Licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression or stress or anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem, anything you share is confidential. It's convenient, professional, affordable, and you can check out the testimonials posted daily on their site, and you'll see what people really feel about BetterHelp. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states in the U.S. I want you to start living a happier life today. You want to start living a happier life today. And as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting BetterHelp, our sponsor, at betterhelp.com/Bob. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, spelled out, BetterHelp.com/Bob. That's betterhelp.com/Bob. Take care of yourselves. All right, we're back.
Oh.
These are podcasts. It's a world I never knew of.
Yeah, they can just stick it in there, right?
It don't matter. You brought up Bernie Mac earlier, and that's one of those names when you talk about him, and he shouldn't be gone,
Yeah.
And I knew him, but not like you did. I mean, what was that like? When did you meet him? And tell me about the whole Kings of Comedy and being out there with all of these guys. I mean, what an amazing thing. The tour, the movie, the relationships.
Yeah. Such a unique time in comedy. The comedy was growing, but I met Bernie in Chicago during that Miller Jr. draft comedy. He was the search. He was the winner the year before. And so he would be at events just to kind of show his face and show support. And I remember performing at a preliminary location, had a good set. He came by and just was like, "Hey man, you funny, keep it up. Just stay original, stay doing your thing, but then you funny." I met Bernie, man, during those times. And, I was telling this, I've been posting all these things about really dope Black comedians throughout the month of February. And so on that, when I tell the story about how he took me to lunch before the I Ain't Scared of You Motherfuckers show he did for Def Jam, he told me that's what you got to let them know you're not afraid of them up here in New York. It's a very intimidating audience. Be in control. And, I'm going to let them know I ain't scared of them. You know what I mean? And he was basically giving me that same little tidbit. I didn't know he was going to go out and put it into a set and turn it into what I consider one of the most famous 8 minutes of comedy ever, because it instantly took him from being a peer and a comrade to he was out there. He was selling out big concerts by himself. He was on tour. He was gone. He was Bernie Mac. We were like, yo, what happened? Mm-hmm. But that set was amazing. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. That's kick it. It was famous.
And not only did he have the power and figure out what that thing is, it's like when Chris Rock figured out when to open the throttle and come out with the choke completely opened, where he used to be quiet and mild-mannered. Then he just figured out but when Bernie
Yeah.
did it, there's something else that happened with Bernie, which was what he was talking about. And you could see in his face, he had like the light in his eyes. There was something, dare I say, holy in what he was doing. There was
Yeah.
a beauty in that man, an absolute
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah, super, super straightforward kind of dude. Like that was, and I think, you just don't get enough of that in this day and age. More and more people became more superficial with the idea of whatever you can do to make your identity seem great to somebody else. It was great to see somebody as authentic as he was, on a regular basis. I mean, just the way he walked it, the way he talked it, it was all like straight up and down, like grown man. Like, even if you was his peer, you fool around and go, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I agree with that, sir.
Right. So what was it like? It's you and DL and
Steve Harvey, man.
yeah, and that you were, and you had already been on Steve's show. Was that kind of the first thing?
The first big thing for me was hosting BET's Comic View. I became a regular host, and I took over after DL. DL had did it for 2 years, and then he stepped down, and then I took over and did it for 2 years. And so that was the first, kind of TV presence I had, and then the Steve Harvey show. And, from there, Steve and I, we had a very hot show. We were just good friends. We'd laugh all the time, and we're, still touring as comedians. And so when asked to do the original Kings, first the promoter went out with just Steve and Bernie, and then he brought me on, and just me, Steve, and Bernie. And then we brought DL on, and that was the four of us. And so with Guy Torrey being our MC at, early on,
right.
Just me, Steve, and Bernie, Guy would be the MC and do the shows for us.
It was amazing. And the movie was explosive, the concert film.
Yeah, that was a game changer in the sense that, it had been many films. A few stand-up films, and maybe, I don't know, maybe Raw and Delirious had been out before. I think Delirious was on HBO, but I think Raw was a movie.
It was.
And so, and then this, this kind of, seeing all your favorites at once. And so it was big, man. We made a lot of money. The tour was great. We had a lot of fun because it's your peers, man. You're out every weekend laughing, and life is good. I wasn't married at the time. Life was better. It was crazy.
I wasn't married for 24 years. I was not married. I got a divorce 9 years ago, and I'm remarried now.
Okay. Yeah.
And now, how long have you been married?
21 years, man. So
congrats. You're unusual.
Yeah, I got a beautiful wife. Great.
Yes, you do.
She gets my sense of humor. I get her sense of humor. We're good, man. So, I joke about stuff like that, but yeah, as you get older, I definitely wouldn't want it any other way, man. Like I'm solid, like good. I'm glad I got a beautiful wife like that. So it's good.
You're a lucky man. I am too. I'm also lucky because I've been with your wife, and it's been really.
Yeah, we'll see.
That was nice of you to invite me that time. That made me feel good. God, what a horrible thing I said. So we were.
I love people trying to figure it out too. Like, what?
Yeah, well, I know.
Well, we're swingers, and it's fine.
So I'm coming back from New York. You're coming back from New York. We're on a plane. We're going to LA. It's first thing at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or something crazy. And we're in first class, and I sit down, and as fate would have it, I'm next to you.
Yeah.
And at first you're doing what I'm doing. We got sunglasses. We're tired. We're going to have a cocktail probably and fall asleep. And then you just turned to me and went, Bob. And I just couldn't believe it. And we ended up talking for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And that was a treat. That was a treat. That was just
right. Those are the ones you love when you get because you see somebody, like, again, we see each other in passing, or like even backstage, and it's something really quick, and I think we did something in Vegas one time, like a charity. I don't know what it was, but I just kind of remember seeing you like briefly, like, like, oh, Bob, what's up? Oh, cool, boom. But, in those moments where you don't get to move and you just sit there and you laugh and you catch up, and it's like, love that kind of stuff, man, because, it is a business where people assume we all know each other. And then they assume that there is, this automatic, connection because we're in the same business. But, when you do appreciate somebody's brand and comedy and sense of humor, and then you get to really laugh and enjoy it, that's good stuff right there, man.
And that comes out of the child in us. That's where, like, when I see you, I see that 9-year-old, I mean, I'm like, let's play a little bit. How's it? And we might say shit that a kid doesn't say, but
maybe.
Yeah, they do actually. 9-year-olds now. Yeah. What am I talking about? 9-year-olds then?
Yeah. Now these 9-year-olds say, like, yo, sir, watch your language, you little bastard.
I know. I've turned into such a dad, and I was supposed to be this R-rated guy that broke people's hearts because I was America's family dad guy. And I just did what I always did. They just didn't know.
That was the best, though, man. I think that's what people it was always the best with people, because, that TV persona was so clean cut, so pure. And then I just love that reaction when people see you live on stage. It's like the most exhilarating, shocking, let it go laugh that they can have. Like, oh my God. Like, no, he didn't. Like, yeah, he did.
But it's not an effort,
Yeah, it's not trying, right?
It's just me. It's because
he's like, I don't get it. What are you talking about? Like, I don't.
But I don't do the stuff that I say on stage. Like, people think I want to see pictures of it. I don't want to see. I had a joke that people sent me dick pics, which they did before Twitter was killing them, and then I would block them. So the joke was I was a cock blocker, and but see, it's not that good a joke. But the truth is, people think I'm dirty. In life, I'm really not.
It's just a thought. Yeah.
It's the character on stage, but it's me also. I'm becoming more me. I'm becoming, as I got older, more of a storyteller. So I'm excited to be able to get out and do stand-up again. Now, how about you? Where are you in that area? Are you wanting to get out again?
Yeah, it's been a year, and that's been crazy, man. It's been since March of last year. And so I decided to take a shot at it. Only places that are really booking are in the South and the kind of cowboy states, I call them. So Texas and Georgia and Florida, and Arizona. So those are the places. So that I'm going to go and do like a couple of club dates just to warm up and kind of get my feedback. Because I don't think any of the big venues are still open to where they make sense to do a bigger venue anyway.
Same.
And so, yeah. So the clubs are just where you got to go and do the work. And like I say, just look forward to getting back on stage. There's a certain anxiety you have when you go off stage for a long time. Have you ever taken a long break?
I did when I started directing for a while. Like, I changed careers, and then I did that for like 4 years. I did stand up a little bit, but not a lot. And it took me a while to get back, but I can't wait to get back. I might do one drive-in before. There's one in Irvine I might do just to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of theaters are closed, so they can't open, but the clubs are open. So I'm going into Denver. I'm going to Zany's in Nashville. That's
yeah, exactly. Those guys there. So yeah, I know my partner D.L. Hewley, he's been out there. So
I called him. I got so scared he passed out on stage.
Yeah.
And I was texting him that night. And we hadn't talked in 2 years.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, what the hell are you? And he couldn't stop laughing. He was like, I'm fine. But I saw that video. That looked like it could have won America's Funniest Videos.
Yeah, that video did not look good, man. And so I definitely talked to him that night as well. But he's out working. Matter of fact, he's in my hometown of St. Louis this past weekend performing. And so I think he's got a couple of shows. Last night was his last night, and he's back on the grind.
I got to hand it to him too. I mean, he's doing his podcast, social media wise. He's on the pulse of what we're going through as a culture right now.
Yeah. Well, and that's good. You said something earlier, and I think that's very important that, like, again, you continue to be more and more yourself. And I was thinking about that because, like I said, you have some anxiety about going on stage when you have done it for a long time. Yet I've been, I said, look, I just got to trust that I am who I am and not, because you'll see Chappelle become so prolific right now. And, I've saw other people try different specials and, they'll try to do it on these different platforms or whatever they're doing. But it's something I didn't want to do. I was like, I'm an old school, grab the mic, work it out, get my jokes right, talk, dig it out kind of person. But it's the expectation that, oh, you ain't been on stage in a year, you gonna kill us, saying, I know you about to bring it. You be like, let me figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if all these jokes are gonna work because all I've had to do is write them to myself at this time. I don't know how they're gonna work for everybody else. But.
And then I get the thought of, I don't like using notes. So I'm trying to think, well, what else do I have to say at that moment? Is like,
oh yeah,
and I had all this stuff that I'd looked at before I went out. That was recently because I did the last of Chappelle's comedy camp in Ohio.
Ohio's okay.
And I got nervous because I couldn't remember what my next thing was. I wasn't nervous to do it. I was happy as hell.
Yeah.
And I was with Dave and Louis C.K. and Chris Tucker and Chris Spencer and Michelle Wolf and Darnell. So it felt like, oh, this feels so good. And then they had to shut it down. But Michelle Wolf said to me, "What, were you nervous?" I went, "Yeah, when I lost my place, I got nervous from it. And I never get nervous, 40 plus years."
Well, that's the role, right? And people, you got to take that for granted. It's the idea of having that kind of muscle memory from doing it a lot when you go on stage and you can trust it. But you're right. If you go up there now and you get lost with ideas that are new and you haven't really been performing them on any regular basis, and getting lost on stage is a wild space, right? Because it's just being in the middle of the mall with no signage on none of the stores, man. Like you don't know like what's going on. You don't know what's going on. Like you just gonna walk in, luckily they got some pots in the windows. So I'm assuming this is a pottery barn. I don't know.
If I stand here long enough, something will come to my mind.
Yeah, something come out. What about kitchen utensils? What?
Yeah, it's when I look at someone in the audience and I go, "What are you not laughing at?"
Yeah,
because they're not. But once I get it back, then you go on the roll. I'm not used to having those moments. So I call this a hard reset. What we're going through, it's everything at the same time. And we all say it. We all know it. It's a pandemic that people refuse to understand that it's real and it's worldwide. And then it's also all of the accumulation of inhuman rights for, racial equality, human equality, all of this stuff and how people rose out with hatred from everywhere, from both extremes. And it's just, I think we're going to come out better from it. I think so.
Well, like we all must be optimistic. I say that, it's better than to think that things will never change. I think that we all have to strive to do whatever it is that our little contribution to making that change. And, even things like this allows people to hear it. Those who will see the show and hear the sincerity of what you're saying, they'll take these things and say, all right, cool. What can I do to make sure that I'm like at least showing I care, man? And it may just by being a good person to your regular neighborhood and just trying to be kind and look at your fellow person. I had a homeless, person come up to me the other day, and it was like, you don't normally, you can look at it and see like, oh man, I could probably drive past it, go past people. But the fact that I was just sitting, and they came up to me and, it was a moment of just looking and seeing the humanity, right? You could decide like, some people out here scamming the system for sure. But when you see the amount of homelessness going on in America, you got to realize people are in food lines because of the pandemic. You realize that even if this person is scamming me, you know what I mean? Like my intention is just to do something good for somebody else right now. And I'm not even going to judge it. I'm just going to decide that I'm looking at this person and I think they need help, even though they may be, they may be full of shit. But I can look at them and believe that I think they could use a little bit of help. And I'm just going to offer it up without all the judgment, right? And so it's those things that where our skepticism makes us less optimistic, right, about what it is that we do. So, I've just stopped being so skeptical and just like, hey, this is what I feel like doing. I feel good for me now. I'm gonna do this, and hopefully this makes your day, man. Go get you something to eat.
You're such a good man.
Yeah.
And when that happens, even the most cynical, angry scam artist used to be scam artists till the true pandemic. And then it really set in where now they're really scraping together to get some food. I think you giving that homeless person respect and money touches that person. That person is like, wait a minute, that wasn't bullshit. That wasn't, I didn't take advantage of him because he knew they know when I think they're human beings and they're just in a bad pattern because of their rough life.
But then he recognized who I was and wanted to give me a hug, and I was like, "Hold up, motherfucker, that's enough." Right? So
I've had that.
Right back. You're right back where you started.
I'm not even elbowing at that point.
Yeah, it's a wash. One hand washes the other, and you could use some sanitizer. But God, and take this. Matter of fact, take this sanitizer with you. It's good.
Don't drink it.
Yeah. Oh God, please don't drink
it. That is not Hennessy. I got a question for you. Last year you had the greatest #@home videos.
Oh yeah.
That was really funny.
Totally bit your stuff. But it was good. This was fun because the TikToks and the Zooms and this became a new content thing that happened. Everybody was doing it because people were just stuck at home. And so we took advantage of that as like trying to take advantage of all the celebrities that were participating. And of course, all these cool zigzag TikToks and Zooms that were. So we did it for CBS. It was fun. It was something great to do during the pandemic. Shot it at my house, small crew. People would come over, set up outside, and I would have a limited amount of people inside. And we would, knock it down and we started out with just one special and end up doing close to 15 of them. So that was and then they've ordered more for this summer. So it was,
that's what I wanted to ask you. That's what I read. That's because there's a lot more that's accumulated and it's probably a lot funnier because the quarantine just didn't end.
No, exactly. It didn't. And people just so like the people that started out making all that sourdough bread eventually are just, eating crackers now. Nobody's baking anymore. It's like it started out like it was great. Like, oh, I'm going to learn to make sourdough. The pandemic just kept going. You like, look, here's a Cheez-It. I'm not making a loaf of bread anymore. I'm done.
If I'm eating Doritos, then this thing's not ending.
Yes, this is not ended at all. And it didn't end all well. So here.
And that's the thing. It's our job, but it's also who we are, is to be able to look at it from the outside somehow and laugh at it.
Yeah.
Which feels impossible because so many lives have been lost. So many people are hurting. And most of our compatriots, comedians, no matter who, it goes serious. They have just not been able to, they try to find the funny. The late night hosts do it. And it's all one direction of let's attack, all the stuff. And that makes me feel kind of better, I guess. I'd rather get my news from, Colbert and Jimmy and and John Oliver and then the news. But that's what's so upsetting is it's like, please make the voices stop, make all this. It's so much negative they filter in, and our job is actually, I think we're essential workers, not trying to get a vaccine early from it. But I mean, I think you're doing
Yeah,
you're doing the Lord's work. I mean, you're making
yeah.
it easier for people, I think.
No, so true though. I do think that, you're right, because you can just be inundated and bombarded with just, negativity all day long, man. It's just like everywhere you look is something. And so you're right. For us to be able to have the ability to take life and spin it but do it in a way that's not, disrespectful, for because it is a lot of loss, man. It is a lot of, extreme negativity going on out there. But yeah, but it is, we're that first line of defense a lot of times, comedians that have to be able to say, all right, look, let me take this, give it to you, and then let you give you a release from it somehow, say with a good laugh. And that's that.
That's why I can't wait to get back out there. And I got a full tour plan, and I think we're going to be able to do it because
Oh,
from,
good.
we hear different stuff about these vaccines, but the Johnson and Johnson, they didn't have luck with baby powder, but their shampoo did well. They had a,
Yeah, see, that's look at it. Yeah, so it's a give and take. So you baby shampoo on top of that.
I
Though that's
love
the
that.
one
I
that
even
really,
tweeted that because it's so gentle.
yeah.
Um,
I
that-
I drink it at times.
I think you probably can drink it because
I
babies,
think it's safe enough. If it's baby shampoo for baby, I believe it'll be great as a shot.
you could put that in a can of beans. It doesn't matter at this point. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, baby shampoo it's the Lawry's of all seasons.
Do you remember the first time you went to Lawry's? If people don't know Lawry's, they bring a giant metal thing with roast beef prime rib and
Yeah,
potatoes that are 3 pounds. And it's on La Cienega. Do you remember? I
yeah.
remember the first time I went.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, one, it was like such a classy thing to do back then because you just felt like, this is what you would see in a movie when somebody brings the big silver domed tray over and then they open it up. But the thing is that, man, I went with a lot of black people and we like our meat well. So when they opened it up and that prime rib was rare, you talk about people like loud, like no, ooh, cook that some more. Like they was like, no, this is prime rib. It's supposed to be like no way. So that was the thing to see them back there, like literally like putting prime rib back on the grill for a whole table of people. That's like, nah, I need that cooked. No blood for me.
That was my dad. My dad was a meat man. He started as a butcher and then made his way up to be an executive with supermarket chain. And we went to Lawry's and he would ask for the end cut, well done, which it usually is. And they said they didn't have the end cut, and he was looking at it. So he had a fight with the server. He was over an end cut. It was like the whole night. I don't know how he enjoyed his meal.
This dude's a butcher. He's like, look, I know an end cut when I see it. That's it right there.
It's like someone trying to sell you, a insurance appraisal or adjustment.
Right.
You know the ins and outs.
Yeah. Hey, my man. No, you're at fault there. This is a comprehensive liability claim.
I just had that guy at my house because the main pipe broke and they had to put a sleeve in underground.
Oh yeah.
You can't route a sleeve. You can't have it snaked because it's made of some fiber, like a surfboard shit.
Yeah.
It's very traumatic.
They got to dig somewhere, right?
They dug 2 giant holes. Did you ever go in houses and that was the situation?
Yeah, I've had to do that many times where you're like, look, we're going to have to come in and dig this out. Your insurance covers this amount, and it's still going to cost you this amount. You're like, what? I ain't got that. Well, that's what it is.
That was a good commercial. I think it was either for manscaping or a mattress. I'm not sure.
Oh, dude, what about a manscaping while on a mattress?
Wouldn't it be great to have a mattress in the future that manscapes you?
While you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So your back, you can remove all your back hairs and you can turn over and then you can have your pubes like kind of lined up. You would have a design. You would have to program it in like the night before and say, oh, like I want to design mine with a question mark in my pubes. Like, so it's like, hello. And then, or hey, trouble below, like the stamp, like your
I'm submitting this to you. Do you want to go in on this with me that we invent this? But I'm thinking Cedric, is memory foam. And first they take a mold of you. They take a mold of you naked on your stomach, and they know all your stuff. They know all of it. They see all of it. They can even detect where the hairs are. And you go to bed, but it's not razors. It has to be a different kind of laser technology.
Yeah. It's ultra laser technology. I like it. It's quiet, but I mean, sometimes you're not going to want that memory in that bed like that. Some of these days, say you've been swimming, say it's a little cold. That's not the.
No, that's right. Then it could miscut. It could miss laser. You don't want to mess with your junk, because it could really. What if they snap? If one of your nuts, if they hit one of your nuts,
that laser comes off, and it's like, yo, now all you can do is porns. You got to you're that shaved and that clean. It's like, look, man.
They bobbited me.
Yeah.
Remember when he was popular? Remember when that was the news? When
bobbit,
threw it in a cornfield.
Funny, they did a movie about it, and I was looking at it last night. Me and the wife were looking, and it's like, as soon as you read the thing, you're like, I don't think I want to watch this. The story of Lorraine Bobbitt when she cut off her husband's penis. It's a dramatic tale. You're like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I
put it in a cornfield, threw it in a cornfield.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then he had it sewn back on, and he did a porno.
Nice.
It doesn't get sadder.
I like that. I like the fact that I like that. This is the America that we talk about, man. That's a resilient. This is the ego of a male, man. Anytime you can get your junk cut off, sewn back on, and have the audacity to do a porn movie, like that's male machismo at its best, man. That we all need to have that. Like, yes.
My crappy dad joke would be he had final cut on the movie. But that, that's what I have to offer the world. And people go, oh, that's a dad joke. And I'm like, you didn't think of a joke. I tried to think of a joke.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Do your kids give you stuff for when you say a joke and they don't find it funny, or do they just, I would imagine they just adore you, right?
Yeah, but they will like let you know. But my kids are funny too, so I'll like steal stuff from them from time to time. Just say things that are quippy, or like a funny little point of view, and you're like, all right, you know what, I'm taking that. That's funny. So my daughter's got a cerebral kind of sense of humor, so it's funny and really edgy with funny hip words. That's her thing. Like, she's very much on the cusp of the now. Like whatever it's like. And so then you find out, like, okay, that's the now way of saying this phrase. And you're like, okay, yeah. Thanks, daughter. I'm using that, so.
How old are they?
She's 17 and my son's 20, both doing virtual learning. My son was away. He was at University of Arizona in Tucson, and then COVID hit, and he's been home ever since. And then my daughter's in her senior year at high school, so she's been at home. Of course, this whole senior year, which is unfortunate, man, because, kids don't get to have that overall experience that when you're a superstar at high school in your senior year, man.
Yeah.
You lost all that.
And I'm sorry for her. That's a shame. But she'll get through it, and then college will be awesome for her. She'll have that experience. I got 3 daughters that are 34, just turned 31 and 28. And as far as my comedy goes, they wouldn't go like, oh, you're not being relevant, Dad. I don't get that. They'll go, Dad, that is not okay.
Wow.
And so
that's not okay.
That is not okay. So I'm like, oh man, I've crossed the line.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear that.
Yeah, no. The lines are better. We're in an ultra sensitive society, man. You can be canceled at any time.
I don't know what the hell to do. Well,
it's risky. It's risky taking risk.
And yet you want to find something that can make everybody happy somehow. And that's the craft. That's the hard part to figure out. How can I communicate something that will make me happy, but will make as many people, no matter who they are, relate to this somehow?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you're able to right. You really are able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think about it because you're right. You got to go up there And I don't remember that. I say, where'd you grow up, Bob? Where are you from?
Philadelphia born, and then Norfolk,
Yeah,
Virginia.
so same thing. So these are very kind of areas where the melting pot could, people cross over, and you find yourself in these different groups of people. And St. Louis is like that. And I kind of felt like, my mom used to be, when I first started, she was like, why you curse so much? Use your words, learn to use your words, right? And if you don't have to curse, don't. So that became a thing, right? Where I just didn't lay into negative or bad words in order to tell my jokes. Now, if I need it, I can do it, and it's cool. And it is that, and you find out they work so much better. And then you go, all right, well, I went to college, and then I got a lot of cousins that's street hood people, and then I got white friends, I got black friends. I live in a household with all women, my mother and my sister. So these things I respect. Then I got this situation, right? So you realize that if you're trying to tell a joke for anybody that can relate to any pocket of you, that's that, right? Then you're going to talk to the masses at some point in time, because you're going to tell a joke for the ladies that's going to be good, because you're mainly knowing that I'm doing this for my mom and my sister. And then this is for my college educated people. This is for my hood people. This is for the people that got corporate jobs. It's people that just got a job, and this is, these are the kind of these experiences. So I try to take that on stage in my whole self. So, and not leave out things that actually could be tools for me. You never know.
Are you going to want to, are you going to want to do you should do a special when you get yourself up and rolling?
Yeah, I think it's necessary. I kind of, hey, let me see. I did my last one for Netflix was 2017, maybe.
Right.
2017, man. So you look up and it feels like it was, fairly fresh. But now you got to go like, man, that's a lot of years in between. Like, it's time. And I'm not the kind of person that drops a special every year, but I do feel like it's time, for one. Just the idea of, legacy and what it is that you own, and how do you kind of, leave an imprint on the things that you've been thinking about doing these last 2 years. So that's dope.
And it also shows how you've changed, because that's why I want to do it. And I'm about an every 4-year guy when it comes to it. But it's really, this is going to be a different one. This is because of what we've all gone through collectively. There's going to be a lot of COVID material, but at some point we're going to want to just get on with it and let life come back and try to heal and let all the nutty nuts go off. And I don't want them at my show. Crazy people screaming.
I love it. Nutty nut. Right. That's what I call the third show on Saturday night show, the one where everybody's drunk already and they think that they're contributing. You like, no, I'm good. Thank you. I don't need Cedric.
I stopped doing
the one about the car, the spaceship.
or they go, oh, that's from your special. I'm like, what? Some people, it's weird because half the people want to hear stuff that's their favorite bit. And then some people don't want to hear anything that you've ever done.
It's so true, man. I was telling somebody that's the hardest thing about being a stand-up, and why we often get in our heads about doing specials, because a lot of people were asking me like, hey man, do something virtually and put it out, and you can just do it digital. And I say, well, man, like for comedians, we work our material until we're ready to do a special. So we much rather tour with it, make the money from having a really good set, and then record it and then give it away and then start over, right? It's not the fact that, every week we have this unique ability to walk out there and just say the most magical, amazing things so that we can just give away material. Like if we find a joke that's killing and working, I'm better off using that joke for 3 or 4 years, touring it to where it's a personal experience when you hear it, as opposed to, like you said, a guy telling me, oh, you just did that on your special. I saw that. Like, bro, like, okay, I'm not. When you go to see the Rolling Stones, they're going to play their hits, man. They're going to play the hits. But we don't get to do that. We don't get to do that as comedians. It is definitely a judgment if people have heard the material before they have a thing.
And I like it because it pushes me to be more creative and see things in a different way, or I
Yeah,
know you're going to have different life experiences. You'll probably be talking about your kids during
yeah.
quarantine. And
But it's also, like you say, you developed and written some funny jokes. Sometimes they just for you, man. And I've learned to embrace that too, like that honesty of being who I want to be at any given moment. I got some good jokes that just funny, and I love doing them. I love performing them, and I don't give a damn if you heard this joke or not. I'm getting ready to do this joke because I wanted to hear this joke delivered, and and you're right. It is going to be people that's having that same emotion, right? It's going to be people that want to hear the best of you. They want to hear that joke, man. They want you to do it. They came for you to do that joke. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
and so the people that don't understand that, this is not for them. Like, just sit back for a second. This is for my people that want to ride or die. Like,
And I know you do the same thing because I've seen you do it, but like it's the 9-year-old in you when you say something that you know is for you and you don't care if they're gonna laugh, and then it cracks you up, but that cracks them up. And then and being in the moment with it, that's the whole thing. And then
real talk.
well, Cedric, I really loved talking to you and catching up.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait to see you in person one day. We'll just
Brother.
maybe we'll go to Lawry's.
This
You want to go to Lawry's? You want to get a group of people?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I want to start arguing like your dad. Like this, I want the end cut.
They need to know it can't be rare.
Yeah, right. That's it. We'll learn. Let's do it. I saw some people. We got a little old school card club, and we rode past that Lawry's Sunday, and I saw and looked over there and thought about like that experience, like going up in there. They used to have the white dinner jackets too, right? Like the guys served. They served like you were in this really special place,
And we'd get it all hooked up. We could probably get a special booth.
Yeah. I like to come in. I want to wear my glasses from like the old like Pocono days, like the big glasses, and come in. It's like me and Bob Saget. You get a couple of dames.
I'm gonna wear cufflinks, and we'll do a whole Ocean's 11 thing.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We'll come up in Lawry's like we're in the top restaurant in Los Angeles. I love it.
I'm gonna buy a Rolls so I can pull up.
I want a long Lincoln limousine outside.
I'm gonna get an SUV with all the neon lights and shit that no one ever used for prom.
I want to get a cigarette, one of those tips on the end, a long cigarette. I actually want to smoke a pipe that night. I want to
smoke a pipe. I'm gonna wear a smoking jacket, and I'm gonna ask them for their wine list.
I want to bring 2 Afghan dogs that I set out front and let them. They have to take the bones out to them, and I keep asking the waiter to check on them.
I think we should
Malcolm
make
and Eddie, my 2 dogs.
Let's make them support animals, and you bring them into the restaurant.
I can literally bring them in with jackets.
Yep,
like that.
You dress them up, and then you give them the rare prime rib that you won't eat, unless you insist on well done for your dogs. That would be amazing.
Oh, that's what I want to do. As long as they can have like CBD on top of them because it mellows them out.
We should ask them for CBD in their dessert. I don't remember what it was, but it was something special.
Like a tapioca or something.
Everything's 2 pounds there. And my wife would like a 3-pound potato, please, with everything.
Yes. Like, why? Why is this? This is an upside down pineapple cake with a real pineapple.
That's what it is. It was a pineapple cake.
Flaming. It was something. It was like a flaming thing too. They would bring out there, like something.
Cherries Jubilee. Banana.
Maybe it's the cherries. Maybe it's the cherry Jubilee. I know it was a thing that they brought, and
I liked it.
Fire.
I'm holding you to this. We're going to do this. Pandemic's over. Lawry's is full, which means pandemic's really over.
Oh yeah.
If Lawry's is full, business is back to normal.
When they tell us, sorry guys, we can only get you in Fridays before 6.
I'm going to call my connections. I'm going to do something.
I need some people. Yeah, I need to call my people, man. Let's do it. Call your folks.
They don't have a VIP room.
They gotta have it. They got the VIP corner cubby table.
They do, against that back wall.
Yeah, that back corner he would come in, and it'll be holding have a reserve sign, and everybody's gonna be looking to see who comes there. And then
They would
when
have.
we walk in, we're gonna walk in already laughing. That's the way we. And everybody looks, oh my God, look at that group of people.
And they were wondering who the velvet ropes in front of the
rope was for. They're not. I got the dogs. They got the jackets on. We got the wives out. You got your smoking jacket. I got the pipe. You know, they tell me I can't smoke inside. I'm telling them, hey, this is CBD, guys. This is for my. I have a card. I'm fine. You know,
here's a card for my dogs and for my CBD. I'm totally legal. I'm allowed to do this crack here. I'm cool.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. It's
you think I'm joking? I'm holding you to this. Forget the mattress. That was a joke. I'm not making the pube shaven mattress. I apologize for putting that pressure on you.
Damn it. We went too hard. All right.
Yeah, but the Lawry's is going to happen, and I'm going to hook it up. I'm going to talk to the manager, and I'm going to explain, and I'm going to ask him for a whole thing, and we're going to get photographs, and we're going to. It'll be the best ad they ever had. Maybe they'll comp the pineapple, whatever it is, or the cherries flambe.
Yeah, flambe jubilee. I love it. All right,
I love you, man.
All right, brother. Love you too, man. This is perfect, man. Enjoy this today. This is awesome.
I did too. Thank you. Stay well. Right. Congrats on everything. I can't wait to see all the new shows. How much do you love him, Cedric the Entertainer? Be sure to be watching if you haven't seen it already. The Neighborhood. It just feels good, and he's the real deal and always has been. I hope they do another Barbershop movie. I would love that. And his video show's coming back to CBS as well, and he's going to be on tour. So you're going to want to see him because he's one of the funniest, sweetest, just most talented guys. I really appreciate him coming on today. So that's it. So what you do now is go on with your life, but you can also rate, review, and subscribe or follow or stitch it if you're on Stitcher or Twatcher or Relish. No, but it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I'm saying them all. The YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Bob Saget. There you go. Or you can check out my stand-up at bobsaget.com because I'm going to be touring in the months ahead now. And as we all get well and get safe, I'll be at you next time, which is a week from now on Bob Saget's Here For You. Take care, everybody.